Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to have a little whiteboard about groupthink. This whole Kings thing got me like, are you kidding me? And then I thought, you know what? People probably don't realize what groupthink is. So, what is groupthink? Well, groupthink this is the key word, think. It's thoughts. And I want you to remember, as I always say, thoughts is just another word for fate. What you constantly think about turns into your fate. So, how does it become groupthink? Well, let's go back right to the beginning. There you are. And you got your big brain in here. And your big brain here controls your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. It does not control thoughts. Thoughts come from outside of you. Now, a thought isn't like, I want an ice cream cone. I'm hungry for an ice cream cone. I'm craving an ice cream cone. No, a thought is, we should go to the park. A thought is, Orange Man bad. A thought is things that like your conscious mind and your subconscious mind would not think of. Well, what are some of the things your conscious mind? Well, that's your hunger. That's your sleep. That's if you have to go to the bathroom, that's where you stop wetting your pants, that kind of thing. Your subconscious mind are things you do, are things like it makes your heart beat. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to remind yourself to breathe. It is your digestion. You don't have to think, oh, now I have to digest this. But it's also things you do by rote, like tie your shoes. Sometimes you get your vehicle and you're on your way to work, and before you know it, you're at work and you don't remember even driving there. So it's things that you do that are just automatic and you don't have to think about them. Okay, so that's the difference. So your conscious mind is also your conscious mind, this is your reading and how you remember colors, like just different things to work out in the world, right? Your conscious mind remembers, don't eat poison, things like that. Your subconscious mind, you don't think of how to eat, but your conscious mind will tell you what to eat. Now, as you can see, none of those are thoughts. Those are functions of living in the world. There are different things we train our subconscious mind, that's sometimes called mindset. Like how you handle your money, how you handle your relationships, things like that. But thoughts they live outside of you. And there's all kinds of thoughts. Where do you think people get the thought to, I think I'm going to punch that guy? That's a thought, right? You're arguing with somebody and then all of a sudden, boom, you want to punch him. That's a thought. That's not a life function. Well, some could argue, but that's a thought. Or, I'm going to quit my job. That's a thought. That's not a life function, right? So once you realize what's a thought and what's a life function, then you start to discern them and you start to ask yourself, here's another good thought. I should buy that dress. I should buy that shirt. I should buy that gun. I should buy those runners. Those are thoughts. That's not a life function. So once you start to recognize what's a thought and what's a life functions, conscious or subconscious, then you can start to discern, is that a thought or is that a life function? So if you are hungry and your stomach starts growling and you think, I want an ice cream, is that a thought or is that a life function? Stomach's growling, it's hungry, it's time to eat, but you want an ice cream, that's a thought. A function is just, I need nutrition. Just give me food. I want food. I really don't care if it's an ice cream or a potato or whatever. Fill me. You know what controls how your body looks is your tongue. I want you to think about that. Anyways, so that's the difference. You're hungry. Your stomach is going, okay, it's time to eat. It's growling, it's gurgling. Your subconscious is sending a message to your brain, to your consciousness, go find something to eat. Your consciousness just wants food, nutrition. The thought is ice cream, pie, cookies, McDonald's. Those are all thoughts. Because you're thinking about what you're going to eat. All right? So I hope I'm showing you the difference. Now, your subconscious also lives in the ether, but that's for another time. And your subconscious and your consciousness is what lives beyond you that's what goes with you in the silver cord, but that's for another time. I just want to talk about groupthink right now. So what happens is all these thoughts are things, right? So I want you to think of, I'm going to do a Bob Ross here. All these thoughts are pretty little clouds in the beautiful little puffy clouds. And you're there, you are walking around, and boom, you bump into a thought. Hey, I should phone my friend Cindy. This is the thought of phone Cindy. Walking along, Here comes a little cloud by a dress. Hey, I'm out anyways, might as well go shopping for a dress. And that's how these little thought forms come along, and you bump into them like clouds. Sometimes you're looking for them, like when you do like we got to figure out this problem. Now you're looking to draw these thought clouds into you. These thoughts don't just live in your brain. You actually have to bring them down into your brain. So like that's when you're brainstorming. Think of all these clouds are storm clouds, and you're brainstorming, and you are trying to bring these thoughts, these ideas into your brain so you can articulate them. All right, so now you get the brainstorming. So how does group think? So we have the media. Let's do one of those. And they are blabbing the news out. And what is the news? The news is just thoughts. Clouds and clouds of thoughts. But then this media is also blasting out the same thoughts, the same thinking. So then, just like storm clouds, instead of a whole bunch of little ones, they start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And guess what? Now, these great big clouds, lots of people are walking into these thoughts. And yes, if you have no discernment, you walk into these thoughts and these thoughts enter your brain. This is sports, sporting events. You're at a big sporting event. Like how many people are creating, my team is the best thought. My team is winning thought. My team is losing thought. Your team sucks thought. And the whole crowd is in unison. That's groupthink. That's sports, that's political. Politics use this all the time. You'll hear a candidate say the same thing over and over and over, and all they're doing is making the cloud bigger and bigger and bigger. Because the bigger your thought cloud is, the more people can fit into the thought cloud. Like you think about how ridiculous No Kings is. You don't have a king in the US. Why are you protesting against something you don't have? It doesn't make any sense. Well, it makes a lot of sense if you've got these massive groupthink clouds and they're being blasted from the media. Oh, I did that backward. I'm a terrible drawer. And they're being blasted from the media. All the media outlets are all of a sudden talking about this No Kings. And then they're giving it a date and they're winding people up, right? And the more people can hear about it, the more people, like, they tell two people, 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 come into my groupthink cloud. And as they speak it, they're creating, like, I just don't have enough room to make this groupthink cloud, and all these people are now in here. And so this whole one big thought, it started out as one thought, has now infected many, many people. And that's what groupthink is. And it, like I said, it can be anything. It can be your favorite sports team. Whenever you're at a sporting event, you are engaged with groupthink. Whether you're cheering for the home team, whether you're booing your team, you're all thinking the same thought at the same time. Of course, there's people who aren't, but let's not get into the minutia here. So that's what happens with groupthink. It's just a thought cloud that has grown to such massive proportions that it basically infects people, and you don't even realize you're walking into it, right? Same thing happens like Black Friday sales. Well, that's exactly what happens Black Friday sale. They advertise. So they're shooting out all these thoughts. And they're, oh, did you see that TV's on sale? Oh, that microwave's on sale. Oh, that computer's on sale. And so all these thoughts, these thought clouds are permeated throughout. And before you know it, you're at the grocery store buying a chicken for supper, and you hear the advertising that TVs are on half price, and boom, the thought to go buy a TV on Black Friday is now in your head. Because it's just all these thoughts have crowded out other thoughts, like I don't need a TV. I don't need a TV as a thought. I don't need a new TV as a thought. But all of this buy a TV that's permeated everywhere you look, there's no room for the little one, I don't need a TV thought. And it's very difficult to find, because these ones are all low-hanging fruit, and you're walking around, and before you know it, boom, you're buying a $50 microwave on Black Friday, even though you don't need one. That's how that kind of groupthink works. So these thoughts that are actual things, your enemies know how to use them. That's what's called propaganda. And they used to just fly them out of airplanes, and you'd pick up a piece of paper and read it. and boom, that thought is in your head. Now we have the news, we have internet, we have social media. There's other ways to get those thoughts into your head. But they go into your head. They're not made. Everybody, the mistake is, let's say that's a brain. Looks more like a helmet. Everybody thinks the thought is born inside your brain. It's not. It's born outside here in these thought clouds. So next time you think you think the thought is yours, I want you to think is like, where did that thought come from? Oh, it's something I read. Oh, it's something I saw on Instagram. Oh, it's something I heard an ad on the radio. Oh, I saw an ad on TV. Right? How many times have you watched a Doritos commercial on TV and all of a sudden you're craving Doritos? But yet 30 seconds before then you weren't. It's because that thought was put into your head. So that's how groupthink works. They take a thought, and then perhaps they've got, $47 million in advertising, and that's what advertising does. It grows a thought, and grows a thought, and grows a thought, and grows a thought, and grows a thought, until it's so big you can't help but notice it. It's so big you can't help but notice it on X. Now, how do you have to accept every thought that pops into your brain? Absolutely not. But the first step is realizing that thought has targeted your brain, your consciousness. But you have to be aware of it first. If you aren't aware of it, you become on a Saturday, beautiful spring Saturday, you're marching in the street with a no king sign because you aren't aware that thoughts are things and can manipulate you. They can manipulate you to changing timelines. They can manipulate you to thinking you have a terrible husband. They can manipulate you into thinking body positivity is awesome. Unless you've got the wherewithal to understand where thoughts come from. How can you protect yourself? Awareness, that's all. Do I accept this thought or don't I accept this thought? And if you accept the thought, then take full responsibility for it. Take full responsibility for the actions that you're going to do. If you say, I don't accept this thought, we don't have kings in America. I don't have to do a protest against no kings. Then you let it go. You just let it go. That's all you need to do. Now, some thoughts can become overwhelming and you can't stop thinking about it. And we see results of this, of people are on social media saying that they want to see Trump dead, assassinated. And they're seriously putting their thoughts in it for the world to see, putting the thoughts that they've accepted into the world to see. At that point, you're lost. Something has to happen to snap you out of it. That's another thing. When somebody says snap you out of it, doesn't mean they want a piece of your brain to break. They want this thought form to snap. Get out of my head. Look at how many people have schizophrenia. They say it's voices in their head. It's live thought forms that they hear. They can hear the thought form. But that's what you need to do to get out of group awareness. And that group awareness, just watch it. Just go to a sporting event and pay attention to the groupthink. watch online, pay attention to the groupthink. Like, think of all the things that they had to do to get that many people to protest against something that doesn't exist. It's not brainwashing. It's not brainwashing's MK Ultra. That's something different. That's changing your whole subconscious kind of thinking. This is groupthink. This is when you belong to a political party. That's groupthink. Sorry, it is. That's why it's best to stay an independent and be aware of the thoughts they're trying to install, so that it almost becomes subconscious. Then that becomes brainwashing. And that's people who are experts at it have proven themselves in history to be the worst people. And I think we can definitely look at some political parties across the world right now. If you're a thinker and you realize what groupthink is, and you can discern what's a conscious thought, I'm hungry is a conscious feeling, conscious thought, go find food. Me hungry, go find food is a conscious thought. I want apple pie is another thought, is a thought cloud. You have to just really be aware. You might want to put up different words for it, like that. Oh, that was a conscious feeling. But the I want pie is the cloud thought, because your body never wants pie. It wants nutrition. That urge to eat something that is not nutritious is a thought. Now, sometimes thoughts actually stick to you, and you have all kinds of thoughts, and then that's where that's where it's like the cravings come from. That's where drug addiction comes from. That's where wanting to smoke comes from. It's these thoughts actually kind of stick to you. And they're so ingrained you don't even realize they're not your thoughts anymore. Overspending, that's a thought that's stuck to you. Gambling, anything like that. Anything you do over and over that just really doesn't make survival sense is a thought that is stuck to you. Wanting to always, cheat on your spouse, that's a thought. That's not survival. So that's another way to discern it. And how do you get rid of these thoughts? Well, number one, you have to be aware of them. As soon as you're aware of them, they start to dissipate. They start to lose their control over you. And just like a cloud, yes, they can dissipate. One that a lot of people don't realize, a really dark cloud, is the suicide cloud. That's a thought, that you want to commit suicide. And that's a dark cloud that is really difficult to get rid of, but you can. What's the difference between a thought that has an attachment and an attachment? An attachment is something that's evil and drains your energy. An attachment, I would argue, is more of your addictions, your alcoholism. If you can't get rid of it the first time, then it moves. It's not a thought. It's an attachment, a negative attachment. Could even be, some form of evil, like narcissists. That's why they say narcissism is incurable. It's because they have an attachment. It's not a thought anymore. And the attachment is running the whole show. So that's how you would know if it's a thought or an attachment, is like, can I get over this? Like the thought of I want pie Is that easily moved over to, well, sure, everybody wants pie, but I think I'll have chicken noodle soup instead? That's a thought, that's not an attachment. But the thought of, I want to harm this puppy, that's evil. So groupthink can also be for the good. When you have a society that has a bunch of agreements, a bunch of morals, a bunch of way of living, a bunch of unwritten rules, that's a positive groupthink. And that's called a high trust society because everybody is on the same groupthink here. Everybody, you don't steal people's bikes, right? You look after your neighbor. You shovel your neighbor's walk once in a while. You help them out. Here's the pregnant lady. You carry your groceries in. You put your cart away. Whatever your community is, you could have a positive groupthink as well. You know, we don't litter in this community. We pick up after ourselves. You know, that we have respect for the police and the law, and the law has respect for us. That's a positive groupthink. And then, of course, there's the negative groupthink, and those are really the dark clouds. They're really dark. I want you to think of them as really dark, stormy clouds that just like a fog that lays down on people. That's your communism, right? That's your communism, not your extremism. That's throwing gays off roofs kind of thing. That's stoning women kind of thing. But it's a group thing. It wouldn't be allowed if the majority of the group didn't want it. The dark group of let's do a no kings protest. I still can't get over that. So next time you want to protest something, you want to eat something, you want to buy something, you want to say something terrible on the internet, I want you to stop and think, is this my thought? Or did I just run into a thought cloud? Or did a thought cloud run into me? Once you have that awareness, you have freedom, you have peace, you have so much. Thank you very much for listening. Does this make you more aware now of your thoughts and what thoughts you're thinking? And are you surprised your thoughts aren't made in your brain? A lot of people are the first time they hear that. Take your time getting used to it. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.